Hello, welcome to the Marketing Automation Show. I'm Joey Keller, your host today. Today, we're going to talk to Mohammad Abu Musa, who is the man behind Steercampaign and the man behind many useful modifications in Mautic. He's one of the core contributors for years already. They developed a multi-tenant solution for Mautic, and they're offering it as a service. So the hosting is basically the service they provide. And if you're a marketer who don't want to worry about Mautic installation and maintenance, it might be a good option for you to check out their website. In this conversation, we're gonna go through the whole system, what they built. Plus, we will talk a lot about Mautic 5. What is changing in Mautic 5? How is it more stable? We will talk about database clusters, and we're going to speak also about scalability, how to send 500,000 email very fast, and these kind of things. We will also look at the possible future of Mautic, a little peek into ideas of Mautic 6. Let's begin. Hello, Mohammad. Thank you so much for taking this call. How are you doing today?
All well. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You showed me some very interesting stuff on Slack, something that you have been working on for a while already. And this should be the topic for today's marketing automation show. But before we show a little bit more about that, can you explain or introduce yourself and explain how did you get in touch with Mautic and what your company does?
Sure, definitely. So my name is Mohammad Abu Musa. I'm one of the co-founders of Steercampaign, a company that works with Mautic, with managed Mautic hosting, and a major contributor to the product. So the story starts back in 2018 when I was looking for a solution to do marketing automation. And I used to use HubSpot, which was the de facto product in the market. But due to financial dynamics, I think HubSpot doesn't really scale well with the budget that we had on that project. So I started exploring open source projects because I'm a developer before anything else. And Mautic was the prominent name on that period. So I started using Mautic, installing Mautic, running some campaigns. And I then this product is actually good. It delivers what I need. The cost is not phenomenal. I can scale it up with my needs. And then I started contributing to the product from that point, especially in the emailing systems, which is the area that's closest to my heart. And from that point, I started growing with the community, learning from the community and contributing to the community as well. Up until we reached to a point we understood where are the jamming parts for Mautic that prevents marketer from using it, and that's where the whole idea of Steercampaign came from.
I see. And we are when you started, it's Mautic 1, very early.
It was Mautic, the earliest version. I remember it's 2.22 or 2.3, okay. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, back into that. That's really cool. And then I saw your name very often popping up when it comes to SES. Like you said, emailing is close to you.
It's the closest thing to my heart. One of the main challenges that I had for myself and my clients is sending in volumes. So sending more than 500,000 emails per shot. And that is why that was the main motivation for me to make changes to Mautic 5 to make it faster. So the changes and the rewrites was done on that area. I like how email systems work. I love feedback loops. I love the warming up processes. I love how these things work. I love how it converts more to marketers because everybody is trying to avoid emails, but I can see firsthand that emails are actually delivering results. They are converting customers. They are helping companies outreach. So that is the area of the focus that I'm on, and that is most of the contributions that I have done to Mautic in that area.
Mm-hmm. And also for Mautic 5, as I understand.
Also for Mautic 5, yeah. For Mautic 5, the case was that we need to move away from Swift Mailer, the old system that was used to send out emails. Due to multiple reasons, one of the important ones was it ended life and we need to move to another system. And another reason is the flexibility and the speed and the sizes of emails. So one of the main motivations that I had is the desk space when we started to send in Mautic 4. Like, for example, if you're sending a shot for, let's say, 250,000 emails, your disk space will be inflated and it will be filled, and that shouldn't happen. So with Mautic 5, we don't do that anymore. The disk will not inflate. The emails are stored in a database or in a queue, and then it can be consumed by multiple consumers and send them out at the same time. So you can achieve higher sending limits without actually overloading your hard drive or overworking your system.
So multiple consumers means that there will be processes running in the background which are sending out the emails.
Yeah, in Mautic 5, it's already there. So you can run multiple processes running multiple emails at the same time. So for example, in SES, which is the system that I program a lot on, you can send up to 500 emails per second.
Wow.
So you can make one request and you can send the 500 emails in one request instead of sending like 500 sequential emails, 500 sequential connections. And that is like a huge improvement to the speed. And using the other system sending, like other systems to send out in their full capacity.
I'm a little bit worried if like anyone can do that, what will happen? Like it's the easiest way to crash your website with the feedback loops and clicks and visits. So I guess...
Well, that is taken into account as well. So the feedback loops and the webhooks that are coming, theoretically, they should be queued. Now that we have in Mautic 5 queues, the responses will be queued, which will take milliseconds to store in the database. And then they will be processed like after an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depends on your configuration. So your system doesn't crash.
Okay, so, and for that, we will use Redis as far as I know, or is it up to the person?
Right now, the options are the options are large. You can use Redis. You can use the database, which is the default option. You can use SQS from AWS. You can use any queue system that is supported by Symfony.
Okay. What do you use in Steercampaign?
In Steercampaign, we use Redis and the database, both of them.
How far is this SES integration in Mautic 5? So how far is it ready? For example, when the beta comes out soon, would we be able to test it already, in your opinion?
I think it would take... We've tried it with the alpha version. Like we configured the plugin with the alpha version, and we need just to make small tweaks to make it compatible with the beta version, which is the final version, and then we're ready to go. So I think it would take a week, and we're good to go.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So I as I understand, Steercampaign focuses on the big ones, big fish, large senders, or is it anyone basically?
It's actually on the counterpart. We are looking for small and medium agencies. So look, like we understand that there is a friction that prevents marketers. Like at the end of the day, the actual users are marketers, and we understand that there is a fierce competition in the space. So if you look at Mautic, there are two main problems that are preventing marketers from using it. The first one is the technical side, like how to install and spin up installations, configure it. So the installation process consumes a lot of time. So on average, if a marketer wants to use it, they need to hire an IT developer who understands Mautic, or they should have an IT department that knows how Mautic runs. Install it. That's the first step. Figure out all the issues from running the cron jobs, installing the right configurations, the right instance, the right extensions, the right PHP version, and then comes another story, which is the configuration itself. How to integrate with email system, how to integrate with the SMS system, how to make the data consistent, then how to use Mautic. So we have 3 bridges to cross before you start actually using the system, compared to other commercial systems like Klaviyo or MailChimp, etc., which is like open the system and you're there. So there are 2 frictions. The first one is the IT, and the second friction is the onboarding. In big systems, you will have an army of customer success representative who would like chase you to make sure that you are successful. But with Mautic, that's not available. So Okay,
so let's not talk about this part. This is the second part. Let's talk about the first part, right? Because what you mentioned here, I hear this every day, and I can see in the forums that there's huge problem that even installing Mautic is very hard. And now it's going to be even harder because now you're going to have to be able to use Composer as well, which is one step more, like one step away, like more far for a marketer so it's not just because until now you could go to Softaculous or copy paste or download. So now it's going to be Composer. So your like Steercampaign now is here to help, and what is your service now, and where do you see yourself in 1 year? So what's the goal?
So right now we removed the hassle of installing Mautic. Like right now there's a dashboard, you just log into it, fill in your information, you just create a Mautic instance, and that will be white labeled. It will include all the configuration that you need, and you will be ready and running within seconds. No need for IT department whatsoever. Just go to steercampaign.com, log in, fill in the information, and create it. It will be running for you within seconds, like a couple of minutes, and it will be running and ready to be used. So no IT hassle whatsoever. Okay. So that is what we do right now, and that would include the whole thing that you need to configure, from SSL to backups to the right configuration to the right Mautic version, supporting services, and hopefully with Mautic 5, like all the surrounding services from Redis to the database to the queues to all will be in one place without the need to actually do anything by your hand. So we are providing like what other vendors are doing for other open source projects. So for example, WP Engine is doing something similar to WordPress, and we thought like this model is actually working, and we can adapt it in Steercampaign.
That's really cool. So all they have to do is email SMTP tied in, or you take care of that as well?
We can take care of that as well. If they want to use their own system, they are free to use it. Like we are using Mautic, the open source version, so you can have the full flexibility that you have with the open source version, or you can use things that we're already configuring for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, and you also have your own IP pool then in this case. So you have your own IP. Okay, and you need to police that, or you're not afraid?
Well, there is a script to control it. Okay. So even if you abuse, we can understand what's going on, and we can stop you. Like, there is control.
So don't even try, people. Okay, very cool.
Don't even try. Like at the beginning, you need there's a flirting period, so you can trial out the system. We can see your sending pattern, exactly what the senders are doing. So based on that, you can send more and more and more.
I mean, I don't think that people are bad. So when they try to send the first send, sometimes people are like, okay, I have a list of 5,000, which used to be 20 1 year ago, but people, like my contacts are not active anymore. But let's just add them anyway to the list.
Anyway, let's try it.
So that's what they do. So very cool. And this system relies on what's the technology behind it, as much as you can tell.
Yeah, the technology behind it is a Kubernetes cluster. So basically, we are removing the cloud dependency. We are independent from the cloud. So you can create it on any of the main vendors like AWS, JCB, or Azure. Or if you have your own Kubernetes cluster, you can use the system. So basically, you just configure a Kubernetes system, which we did, like we built the infrastructure as code. So you roll the code, and once the infrastructure is there, you configure it on the interface that we have, and then you are ready to start running instances of Mautic automatically.
Okay, that's really cool. Do you want to do a demo? Like, what would the customers see?
Sure.
That would be really cool.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. I will show you the staging server. The application server is already running. So for anyone who wants to try it out, they just go to steercampaign.com. They can log in. They have the options to create a free account and try it for themselves without actually paying, or they will be escorted to the payment page, where they can find multiple plans based on the number of contacts. And once they fill the form and check out, they will have a running Mautic installation. So let me show you how it actually works from two sides, from the user side and from the administrator side, so you can understand how things are working. So you create an account. That's not a big deal. Was verifying just to make sure that you are the right person. Okay, so this is the main interface that you'll find. It's very basic, nothing fancy. We always try and make sure that we are actually contacting you. So and we will get back to you immediately. To start with more, get started now. You will be presented with the account name. So this could be your client's name. It could be Flower Shop, or it could be the agency. So let's call it the Flower Shop. And the email will be admin@flowers.com. You give it a password, and then you start a free trial. So in the same exact way you're creating a trial, you're actually creating a Mautic installations. Okay. So this is the installation. You can see that we give it a CNAME. So basically you will have an installation running on our servers, and you will have a login and a password. And once this is created, you will have a Mautic installed, configured, and ready with SSL, so you can use it, and you can log in with these credentials. Right. And later on, you can add a domain, so it can be engage, for example, engage.flowersshop.com, and that will be the actual domain that you will be using for Mautic. So right now we have a running Mautic without the hassle of doing any kind of IT work whatsoever.
Okay, that's nice. So basically, you would add the domain, then you go back to your register, domain register, change the CNAME, points here, and
that's it.
And ready to go. Okay.
Yes. Of course, you can manage. The cool thing about this is that you, as an agency, for example, you can run multiple installations from one dashboard, one billing area, one invoice, all of that in one place without the need of working with multiple IT developers, with multiple systems, with multiple bills, etc. It's all in one place. And we are now developing more features to come. So, for example, backups, the system is already backing up its data, but it will be added here as a new item where you can restore or download your backups. Soon enough, we will have the copy, duplicate, and move functionality, so you can duplicate an installation. Let's say that you have an instance that you really like, an installation that you really like, or if you are targeting a specific type of clients, let's say wedding planners, and you have automations, like you have campaigns, you have landing pages, you have themes, etc., and you just like apply it to the next client and the next client and the next client. You can just copy and make a new installation out of that copy, duplicate it. And let's say that you have a client who wants to create another Steercampaign account. You will be able to move your installation from your account to their account and move the billing as well to them. And that would allow the freelancers to build the workflows on Steercampaign and then transfer the ownership to the actual owner of the system. So this is really how it works. This is in a nutshell how it looks like for the client. As for the admin, we understand that the community love how things are being managed, and they love to see how things are working. For us, we define something called a data center. A data center is basically the cluster that is running Mautic. So as I told you, we define multiple Kubernetes clusters in multiple regions. So let's say that we have a client based in the US and another client based in Europe. Each one of them wants to use a different data center. That option is available. We just run the infrastructure as code and the cluster will be ready. Then you can define which provider you are working with, how you authenticate with that Kubernetes cluster, in which region is it running. Then you configure the authentication. There are different authentication methods for it. Then you define the database that will host Mautic installations, and that cluster is ready. So new customers can create installations on that cluster seamlessly without any issues. and that would open like more flexibility, more ability to add more data centers without actually involving in a lot of work and a lot of configuration.
Okay, so this is your code actually here. So everything what we
Yeah.
see, just that people understand that this is everything is custom made. So
Yes.
it's not another product. How long it takes for this Mautic to be set up in the backend? Like, could we log in into our Flower Shop theoretically already? Like, what's
we can. It would take 2 minutes. This is how Mautic looks like after it's being installed and deployed. As we can see, the security certificate would take some time to be generated, but it will be secured in a few seconds, and you will have it ready for you to be used. Just log in with the information. Now that the installation is almost done, we can see that Mautic is already installed, configured, and ready to be used. The SSL takes a little bit of time to be generated, but once it's generated, the system will be ready to use, and you can map it to your domain. So now we created the Mautic installation without the need to deal with any kind of IT. The whole thing is set for you.
What about the marketplace? It will work on all of these? That's an important question for marketers as well. So this will be a composer-based install, I guess.
It will be a composer-based install, yeah.
Yeah,
and for like a question that we get a lot is how it's going to be updated. Yeah. There will be a policy for that. We will not use the latest version always. Yes. We will get back probably a version or two up until we make sure that the installation is stable and running as expected, and then we start gradually upgrading the installations one by one. We will prevent users from upgrading by themselves because we want to make sure that it works. Also, we will be providing like surrounding services around the installation to make sure, like, for example, pods are not accessing, there's no malicious code, etc., etc.
You mentioned supporting services. Is that template design or consulting?
As a Steercampaign, like, we have a philosophy that we don't want to deal with support itself. We don't think we are the right people to provide training or support. So our vision is to empower the community. We know that there's a lot of people in the community who have great support services. They have a lot of knowledge of marketing automation, a lot of understanding. So what we are thinking is that we can work with them. Instead of us doing themes, answering questions, supporting customers, we can work with people from the community to provide such services with a quality that is provided to the client. So we understand that clients need support. We understand that clients need somebody to take their hands to success. But at the other end, we have a lot of members in the community who have a great understanding of Mautic, who understand how marketing automation works. So maybe we can be the marketplace that connects these people to these people under special contracts that like guarantee a level of success for both of them.
Okay, so it's every Mautic project will be basically a party with many participants. You take care of the IT, agency brings the client, most likely. Yeah. If the agency has the know-how, it's great because they can take care of that. But if it's needed, then you would be happy to also pull in people from the community to do the support part. Is there any plan for integrating it somehow into this ecosystem? The support. Do you have any, idea or a best practice for that, how that would work? Or just directly connect them and figure it out themselves, the support part?
If they figure it out themselves, I think that would hurt the quality of the service, and we will be back to block number one, which is I don't find anybody to support me. So we will work with people from the community. Like, these are this is your response time. If you have a problem that you cannot solve, get back to us and we will figure it out. If it's a technical issue that requires like code changes or bug fixes, So we will try to control the process. Like at the end of the day, the community members who are providing support are actually the customer success ambassadors who will help clients achieve success with Mautic. So we understand that marketers understand how marketing work, but they don't understand how actually IT works. But on the other hand, we are in Steercampaign understand how the IT works. So we will have the first line, which is the community members who are supporting the clients, our clients and agencies to be successful. Then if there's an issue that they cannot solve, they can get back to us and we will figure it out on the back end. So the community members can provide their services to the clients, supporting them with the most common questions that they need, and they can get back to us if there is an IT problem, and we will solve it for them.
We've seen how easy it is to set this up, and I know there's a lot of sweat in the background. I saw different packages, small, different, like bigger ones. You were also mentioning 1.5 million here in one of the, or maybe I just saw it in.
No, true.
In the drop down. My hand starts to shake above 200K when it comes to Mautic. Yeah. 1 million is already some customizations. When we go higher, it's really like it's really like a patched Mautic. How you plan to solve this problem of scaling? Is that the whole technology, or what is your solution?
We already have installations running with 2.5 million contacts, and they've been running for I think 3 years now, with different Mautic versions. And we know that there are issues with the scalability, but we have solutions that are already implemented in place. So the bottlenecks for Mautic right now when it comes to scalability is the database, which we already solved. Like we have PRs that already merged in Mautic 5 to solve this issue of having a database with like replicas and redundancies. Also the cron job frequency. We understand that there are some cron jobs that doesn't necessarily need to run every 15 minutes as it's like recommended in the docs. So that's changed as well. We have supporting services around Mautic for web tracking and form submissions to prevent it from failing. So there are supporting services around it to make it scale.
Just to translate this for everyone, I'm sure everyone understands, but then just to translate this for me. So the database limits are addressed in Mautic 5, most of them. Is that,
yes,
did I understand right? So if someone would install Mautic 5 on their own, then they would not have to have some special knowledge to keep the database in line. It would be already scalable. Besides some memory.
It wouldn't be that easy. So the solution implemented in Mautic 5, like I personally submitted the PR for that. In databases, we have two types: a read-write database node on a cluster, like a database. Now when we're talking about scale, we're not talking about a simple server. We are talking about a cluster of databases, a cluster of servers. So on these clusters, we will have two databases, two nodes running. One is a read-write node, and another node, which is a read node, read-only node. So in Mautic 5, we implemented a code that you can connect to the two databases at the same time.
I see.
You connect to the read, like for the read database, which is read-intensive operations, memory-intensive operations, and the read-write would actually add data to the database. So we are using both of them, and we are working on the frequency of the cron jobs because they are the bottleneck for the database.
So you are saying that if someone is able to install two databases and set it up, with some help,
if they be able to create a cluster of databases, it's not two databases, it's one database, it's a cluster of database, with two different servers, they will be able to have a huge performance increase.
And that's through a UI already, or you would need to go into
code
changes or config files?
Config files.
Okay, that's not the worst. So it's something what someone can learn who understands Composer at least.
Definitely.
Your system now, is it also relying on cron jobs, or you substituted it with another solution?
I don't think under the current configuration we can substitute cron jobs with something else.
Okay, so it is still cron jobs.
It's still cron jobs.
Okay.
It's inside, like cron jobs is in the heart of the system. Replacing it, like there are some discussions during Mautic 5, probably there will be in Mautic 6, where we remove the cron jobs and replace them with a queue scheduler. So instead of having cron jobs running, we will have a queue that adds the jobs to that specific queue. Like, for example, segment update, it needs to run every 15 minutes. And we will pass specific parameters to that specific cron job or schedule a task to run. So, for example, take the contacts from that ID is from 1 to 100, and another worker would take them from 101 to 200. So you will have multiple jobs running at the same time. That's one way to think of it. Another way to think of it is to make it event-based. So like the cron job should not run, or the logic within the cron job should not run unless the status of the contact is changed. And when a status of contact is changed, we change the configuration and we queue the job, and the task handler, like multiple task handlers, can take it at the same time. There are design patterns in my head, but they are not on paper yet for this specific issue. But I don't think we will be shipping them before Mautic 6.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen workarounds where different bash scripts are doing this job in the background. And I know that for campaign triggers and update, there is a multi-thread option possible. So you can run multiple ones. And that's already a big help. And then back to emails. So if you are talking about a huge Mautic, email sending is already solved in Mautic 5. As you said, so that should not worry. I think what we will see in the forums is that how can I send slower, probably, because I was banned, sending more fast than 14 emails per second, which is the entry by SES.
You can configure like the delay period in the worker. You can define, how much, like if it fails, when would be the next retry. All of these are configured in the command line.
Okay. So based on what I see, I think that Steercampaign is going to be a huge player in the Mautic ecosystem. You personally are also a supporter of Mautic for years. I've seen it on GitHub. And is Steercampaign going to join the partners? Is there a plan for that? Do you see any benefits?
We are in the process. We already achieved what we need to achieve in order to become a partner. And now we are just in the process of filling in the forms to become an official partner.
That's really nice. I'm really glad. I think the more partners join, the better is for the whole community and also for the projects. How can someone contact you, for example, freelancers who is watching this video and saying, okay, I would like to be one of your consultants, or I would like to be, I'm an agency, or I just have enough of hosting Mautic, I would like to use your services. How can they contact you? What's the best way?
The best way is they can go to steercampaign.com. There's a contact us form. I will always monitor it and reply to it. That's one way. Another way, I'm always on the Slack and GitHub channel of Mautic. You can reach me out on that. If not, on LinkedIn, I'm available. And my email is just easy, m.abumusa, like the name, at steercampaign.com.
Thank you. That's really cool. Well, thank you so much for this demo. I think this is it's an amazing system and very impressive. I hope that you will have as many consultants as just possible. And please reach out to anyone who is watching this video. Please reach out to Abu Musa. I also would like to personally thank you for answering all my questions always when it came to email. So you were always available on Slack. That's really, really nice. And I'm happy that the community is made out from these kind of contributors.
Thank you, Joe. You are always contributing to the community.
Sure. So then I guess I'll talk to you next time, hopefully in person in one of the Mautic community sprints or conventions. And until then, I hope that this project will be very successful.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.